Welcome to Sib Spot. Today's posts are from TIFU. Our first story is by I Am Disturbed. TIFU, by cracking a joke at my wife's doctor's appointment. This first one is marked not safe for work. There is an inappropriate joke in here, but it's a very funny joke, so I had to include it. If you want to skip ahead, feel free. So as per usual, this did not happen today, but rather took place a couple years ago. But a coworker sent me something on Snapchat today that reminded me of my F-up. My wife was having a consultation to have a procedure done on her uterus, and obviously wanted me to come with to help remember things and maybe come up with questions she didn't think of. Her OB doctor goes through all the specifics of the procedure and finishes up her presentation with saying we won't be able to have for 2 weeks. My wife, being an eternal jokester, turns to me and says, "Did you hear that, honey? No for 2 weeks." Me, without skipping a beat, "Okay, but what does your dentist say?" My wife was not super amused, but her OB doctor thought it was funny as heck. Full disclosure, wife found it hilarious. Later, I think she was more embarrassed at the time. And I realized this is probably a joke from somewhere, which is why I think it popped into my head so fast as a reply. I mean, he was completely lined up for that one. If he didn't say it, I would be disappointed, honestly. Good for him. Our next story is by Swaglar. TIFU, by accidentally inviting my boss to my wedding. Well, folks, this is an interesting one. Remind me not to take another edible anytime soon. Today I was talking to my fiancé regarding our guest list for our wedding. It's over a year away still, but we are trying to figure out if we need to cut anyone from the final head count. Our count started tallying up really quickly, and we have agreed that we really needed to start limiting our invites. For those that are definitely invited, I started sending some links via our Zola page so that we can get their addresses and basic info to save the dates. I texted my friend, we'll call him James, a link to fill out the form. A minute later, I check and see I have a notification back from him. I checked my text, but something just seemed a little off. Oh, yeah, it's because I texted my boss, also named James, the link. As soon as I realized my foo, I quickly asked my fiancé how I should fix this and note that it was a mistake of some sort. Well, before I can even think of a reply, he texts back very enthusiastically saying thank you and updating me on a new address he's going to have. Now my fiancé is saying to just not mention it again, but I've got tons of scenarios of how this could even get worse going through my head. What if he mentions the wedding invite to my other coworkers? How could I possibly say it was a mistake without being super awkward? What if he mentions it again, multiple times in the future? I feel like this is straight out of a sitcom. I guess it depends on how close you are with him. If you were closer with this boss, you wouldn't have an issue saying, "Hey, I'm so sorry, did not mean to send you an invite." And I don't think he'd be offended. This sort of thing happens. If you message him and said, "I meant to send that to my friend James, but there's 2 Jameses in my phone, I'm so sorry. You seem really excited about it, but I did not mean to send you an invite." My old boss, when I was a teaching assistant, I was not close with them at all. And if I sent them a wedding invite and they were enthusiastically replying, I'd still message them and say, "I'm so sorry. I messed up and that meant to go to my other friend by the similar name." It depends on your relationship with said boss. If they're close to you, you better just let them come. If they're not, it's better if you don't have a really close relationship with your boss. Keep work and life separate if you can. The next post is by Just Another Human 255. TIFU, by brushing my teeth at my boyfriend's house. I'm 19 female staying the night at my boyfriend's 19 male house in his bedroom. He has 3 dogs, 2 of which are sisters, puppies. They're both very attached to me and I love them to pieces. These puppies have a thing where they pretend to fight each other. No actual fighting, just staring at each other while growling and barking to get attention. The protocol for this behavior is to ignore them, to not reward such antics. They do this whenever they're jealous of each other, so we keep them separated and make them take turns whenever I interact with them. I have insomnia, At 11:30 p.m., I ate a midnight snack and wanted to brush my teeth before going to bed. The bedroom door creaked as I opened it, and apparently one of the puppies had been sleeping beside it. She, the puppy, inevitably heard me, followed me. I let her into the bathroom with me and shut the door to keep her separated from her sister. I was petting her when her sister apparently heard us too and started growling at the door. I opened the door, hoping that they'd take their little ordeal outside, but nope, they didn't. Before I knew it, they were growling and barking at each other at 12 a.m. It woke up the entire family. My boyfriend, his mom, and his sister had to get out of bed and calm their dog down, as I once again locked myself in the bathroom and awkwardly brushed my teeth. It's 1:15 a.m., the situation is finally done being dealt with, and I'm too embarrassed to step out of the bathroom again. All because I ate a midnight snack and wanted to brush my teeth. The cherry on top was when I overheard my boyfriend's mom sweetly say, "Bless her heart." We live in the South. I have 2 small dogs. They're not puppies, but they can get riled up at times, and they like to come in the bathroom with you in the middle of the night if possible. They see you going in there, they'll stare up at you, and I have to invite them. And they come in, and they have long nails. Like, we try to cut them as often as we can, but I'm afraid of cutting dog nails, because they have strange, like, kind of slender ones, and when you cut them, they turn and twist. So we have to, like, really grip the nails and cut the ends off. But their nails tap on the floor, and that wakes people up that sleep in this household. But they're adorable, and they like to get pets while you're using the restroom. The next story is by Politic 101. TIFU, by getting into a tickle fight with my girlfriend. To preface, at the time of this story taking place, my girlfriend's parents were out of the house, but her 14-year-old brother was home. We were downstairs in the living room watching TV. Her brother was in his room, probably on his computer. There's also a heat wave going on, and my girlfriend's AC is kinda trash, so we're both wearing the bare minimum of acceptable clothing, shirt and shorts. We're sitting on the couch watching one of those videos of people who build stuff from scratch, both kind of zoned out from boredom when my girlfriend does that thing where someone pokes you and pretends like nothing happened. I play along and began poking her back. And eventually this escalates into us playfully slapping and hitting each other, then into us getting more physical while still teasing each other. My girlfriend tickles me and I tickle her back, and we basically just start wrestling on the couch, trying to get the last laugh. At this point, you can probably see where this is going. 2 people bouncing around on a couch, laughing and panting while all sweaty and disheveled. So her brother comes down, probably to get something to drink, and sees about half of this before we regain composure of ourselves. My girlfriend notices it first, and we realize what he thinks is going on and just starts laughing like crazy. But I am effing mortified. I have no idea what this kid thinks just happened, and I sort of just ignore it and pretend to disappear. Her parents came back later and I had dinner with them. I swear her brother did not look me in the eye and left as soon as possible. Normally he's pretty talkative, but he was literally pretending I wasn't there. Later I got a text from my girlfriend that her brother asked what we were doing, and she can be honest, she told him it was a tickle fight. I realize this probably sounds like a crappy excuse parents caught in the act would give, but I swear to God there was nothing going on. LOL. I don't know if this kid will ever see me the same again. Some people can handle being tickled, some people cannot. I am super sensitive to touch and super ticklish. It just makes me scream and kick people. I cause injury unintentionally by flailing my limbs. Our next post is by Skittles N. TIFU by sending my ex on a dream vacation to Barcelona. TIFU, or should I say over the course of the last year, I've effed up by being so completely blind at what was going on. Basically had met my ex and we began a long-distance relationship that was working pretty well, I thought, due to the fact that my job allows me to freely travel for little to no cost. It's also a benefit because I can have a travel companion for virtually nothing as well. I met someone and fell in love, head over heels. He wanted to go to places like Cuba, New York, etc., and I made it happen as soon as I could. I consider experiences a love language, and I was in love. Anyway, a couple months ago, the relationship was on decline. Our work schedules weren't aligning, and it made it difficult to see each other. In turn, this made any kind of arguments or disagreements worse because we couldn't be together to fully discuss and hash things out face to face. One day he called me to ask me for a break, and I simply replied with, "Yeah, it could be a break for good." I don't really believe breaks are beneficial. For me, you either stick it out and work on the issues or leave. Although my heart was ripped to shreds, it was mostly an amicable break. I told him we could stay friends, and if he needed help with traveling, my benefits still had him tacked on, so there's no use in wasting them. Here's where I effed up. I figured he'd use the benefits to see his friends that are stateside, he lives in the Caribbean, or visit his family or something along those lines. Nope. After ignoring me for a while, he popped up out of nowhere and asked me to send him to Barcelona. This was obviously a big ask, but virtually no cost to me, and I stupidly figured this was an olive branch to us remaining friends or part of each other's lives. Maybe he was going through something and needed some soul searching and a reset. After he comes back from vacation and it's his birthday, he starts posting online pictures of him and his friends over the last year. This is how I found out he'd been dating someone else during the time we were together. Even better, he had gone to Barcelona with this person and had a beautiful dream of a vacation. Unknowingly, I sent my ex that I was still in love with on a romantic vacation with somebody he'd been cheating on me with over the course of our relationship. Ouch. No kidding, ouch. Ouch doesn't even kind of cover it. Like, this person was cheating on you while you were together for God only knows how long. That is super painful to find out later. Ugh. This poor person. And they paid for the trip. Never ever do that with somebody from your past. You should definitely cut them off. Our stories for today have come to a close. If you enjoy this content, please click like or subscribe or leave a comment below. Each of these helps my channel reach more people in the YouTube algorithm. I might do a podcast one day that just features the stories, vocal parts, and none of the images. Still gotta work on setting that up. Until we meet again, have a peerless day.